I think I was 12 when I learned that creativity could be embarrassing. Middle school. Middle school, I think, has a gift for making the extraordinary feel foolish, shrinking the imagination until it fits inside a beige standardized box. That year, I drew something bold, a scene alive with impossible wonder, towering trees swaying over this hidden samurai path. Blade was raised toward the light, a hero daring to believe that he was meant for something great. I taped it proudly to the edge of my desk. But before the bell even finished ringing, laughter found it. A classmate, a boy, he snatched the drawing like stolen treasure, but he didn't see a warrior's journey. He only saw something different. He saw something vulnerable, mockable. His laugh, I'll never forget it, infected the air, and soon a whole row of middle school critics found their courage in cruel imitation. Why would you draw this, Carlos? You think you're some kind of ninja? What even is that? Ink blots of ridicule splattered across my confidence. My teacher, she did step in, but not as a rescuer. She folded the paper twice, once for shame, once for silence, and slipped it back into my backpack like contraband. Let's focus on real assignments, she said. Real? As if what I made wasn't. I walked home that day in silence, backpack heavy with a dream that had just been ruled unworthy. The verdict of the world seemed very clear to me. Your imagination is strange. Your art is unwelcome. Hide the wild parts of you. At home, I tried to bury the drawing. I tried to bury it under banana peels and yesterday's mail. But my mother saw. And mothers, real ones, they recognize treasure even when the world calls it trash. She rescued the drawing from the trash bin, smoothing the wrinkles like a medic reviving a wounded soldier. She gasped, not politely, but reverently, "Who made this?" When I admitted it was mine, she didn't look at me like I was weird. She looked at me like I was seen. "This doesn't belong in the trash," she said. In fact, I remember her saying it just like this. "Mijo, this doesn't belong in the trash. This belongs in the gallery." By gallery, of course, she meant the refrigerator. But that didn't matter. The refrigerator door became a museum, a declaration, a resurrection. She anchored it there with magnets on each corner, like stakes in the ground of my identity, and whispered into my soul, "Your imagination is a gift. Don't let anyone make you smaller." And something inside me unfolded again. The laughter from school, it still echoed. But her belief, my mother's belief, was louder. That drawing, it stayed on the fridge until the edges curled and the sword faded into a ghost of graphite. But it served its purpose. Every time I saw it, I remembered. Creativity is courage. And sometimes only one believer can keep a child from burying the magic that they were born with. What I want to explore with you is this: nostalgia. Nostalgia is not the enemy of creativity. It's one of its oldest allies. Nostalgia, it carries the original spark, the pure, untamed passion that existed before perfectionism, before applause, before metrics, and even fear. It's not weakness to look back. It's remembering where the fire was born. Memory isn't passive, it's creative. When nostalgia activates in the brain, it stimulates the hippocampus, the storytelling part, the amygdala, the emotional depth, or the reward system, where we get motivation and joy. Nostalgia isn't just sentiment, it's fuel. It's the fountain of youth for the creator soul, not because it takes us backward, but because it reminds us how to move forward with wonder again. But nostalgia has a shadow, doesn't it? Sometimes we don't sip from the fountain of youth, we can drown in it. We romanticize the past and weaponize it against the present. For instance, I was more creative back then, or my best work is behind me, or I peaked already. This isn't nostalgia. This is fear. This is fear wearing a familiar face. The past is supposed to be a bridge, not a museum where we lock ourselves away. Instead of a cage, nostalgia can be more like a sword. Return to the moments that made you come alive. The first time you danced like no one was watching. The first story that made you feel powerful. The first drawing that your mom refused to let die. These aren't relics. They're maps. They'll lead us back to who we are becoming. Honor the spark, but build new fires. Look at your life. Where are the crumpled drawings? Where are the abandoned drafts? Where are the buried songs, the forgotten dreams tossed away because someone laughed, someone judged, someone folded them into smaller shapes? You don't have to hang them on the fridge, but maybe unfold them again. Because creativity, it doesn't age. It only waits. And your younger self, they're still cheering for you. So here's my challenge to you. Go find one artifact of your early creativity, a drawing, a story, a photo, a memory. Unfold it and ask your younger you, what were you trying to say? Then honor them by continuing the story right here in the present tense. Create something today that would make that 12-year-old version of you smile with pride. Now go. Honor truth, face what is, speak what's real, and create from the deepest place you know.